In this video, what I want to do is show you the 3 most common mistakes that I see my students make when solving rational equations. It doesn't matter if you're starting from Algebra 1 or all the way through calculus, I see students making these exact same mistakes over and over. So it doesn't matter if you have a test coming up or you're just curious to learn what are these mistakes that students are making, this video is for you. Let's get into it. Okay, so the first mistake that I see students make is by applying the cross product to every single rational equation. Now, in this case, we have a proportion. And when you do have a proportion, that means a fraction equal to another fraction, you can apply the cross product. But I don't teach the cross product because what happens is students just remember to use the cross product, and then that's all they want to do is use the cross product. So again, what the cross product is stating is if we were to solve this, if I wanted to multiply the x times x minus 5 and the 3 times x plus 1, then that would create an equation that I could then go ahead and solve without any denominators. Now, the problem that happens is what about if we go ahead and add, another expression? Well, now we can't apply the cross product. And this is the #1 mistake I see students make. They recognize we can use the cross product. They like applying the cross product, but then once they get a rational equation that's a little bit more difficult or has more than one fraction, then they cannot apply it anymore and they get stuck. So what should you do instead? Rather than thinking about the cross product, what I like to think about with my students is multiplying by the LCD. So instead of multiplying across, if you multiply by the LCD here, which in this case would be the product of the 2 denominators, then what's going to happen is, yes, you're still going to have that product, right? You're still going to be multiplying x times x minus 5 because the x plus 1s will divide out, and here the x minus 5s will divide out. But then this is something that you can scale up, because if I was to add in an extra denominator, then all I'd simply do is just multiply my LCD by that next expression. And again, the whole goal here by the cross product or multiplying by the LCD is to get rid of our denominators, so then we have an equation that we can solve. Okay, so the second mistake that I see students to make is that they incorrectly use the least common denominator. And to do this, let's go back to something very simple. If you remember when we first learned how to add fractions, right? We have like 1/2 plus 1/3. Well, we had to find common denominators, right? And the common denominator between 2 and 3 would just be the product, right? And so we'd say the LCD is going to be 6. So over here, we multiply by 3 over 3, and then 2 over 2. And most students remember that because, yeah, you can always find a common denominator by multiplying our denominators. However, one of the tricks that came up though is we always have to look to see, do they have any factors in common before you just all of a sudden multiply your 2 denominators. So for example, if I had 1/2 plus 1/6, the LCD is not 12 in this case, right? Now, 12 is a common denominator, but it's not the least common denominator. The least common denominator in this case is actually 6, because 2 and 6 both evenly divide into 6. So you can see in this case that they share a factor of 2. So all I need to do to get to 6 is just multiply the 3 over the 3. And not only does it just save us time, but it's making the math a lot easier for us to be able to do. So how does this apply to something like this? Well, when you're looking at this, a lot of people will look at the denominator and say, all right, I have to multiply all of these denominators by each other. And if you think about that, that's going to be something really, really big. Now, the tip here is to always factor first. And that's a mistake students don't want to make. They realize that they can just multiply all the denominators. But no, that's your mistake. Look to simplify. Look to see what factors you have in common. So if I was to factor this expression, I can't do anything with these denominators. I can factor this to x minus 2 times x minus 1. So now what you can see here is the denominators share an x minus 2 and an x minus 1, meaning I only need to write it once. I don't have to repeat that common factor. So my LCD in this case is just going to be the product of x minus 2 times x minus 1. So now I will multiply that out. And again, what that's going to do, multiply your LCD times every single term. And what that's going to do is get rid of each and one of my denominators. So now the x minus 2 and the x plus 1s will divide out. Here the x minus 2s will divide out. And here the x minus 1s will divide out. Leave me with 4 equals 4 times x minus 1 plus a 3 times x minus 2. Okay guys, we're now on to our last final mistake. So let's go ahead and recap real quick. Our first mistake was applying the cross product to every single rational equation. Don't do that. Make sure you find the LCD and multiply the LCD times each and every one of those expressions. Mistake number 2 was not actually factoring, just multiplying all your denominators to get your LCD. Make sure you simplify all of your denominators and look for your common factors when identifying that LCD to multiply it to everything. Now let's get on to our final mistake that students make, and that is going to be not checking for extraneous solutions. Let's see what I mean by this, because I think a lot of students don't want to check for extraneous solutions because they don't remember what extraneous solutions are. They don't really make sense to them, so they just kind of avoid it and hope that it doesn't show up on the test. I know I've been there before. So first of all, to kind of get over what is extraneous solution, an extraneous solution is just a solution to an equation, but not a solution to the original equation. And I know that kind of seems weird, so I think it's only best to look at this actually in the context of a problem. So right here, I have a rational equation. Now, again, we don't want to make first mistake, right? Applying the cross product. That's not going to work. And our second mistake doesn't really apply here because we only have one denominator. Now, again, actually, it does apply because a lot of students will multiply these two together. And no, you don't need to. They have an x plus 1 in common. So my LCD in this case is just going to be an x plus 1. Like, you don't have to write it twice, right? So that actually is the second mistake. When I distribute this to everything, right, the x plus 1s will divide out here. So I'm going to get a 1 times an x plus 1 plus 4 equals 4, right? The denominators divide out. Everything is working the way I want it. Now I have what we have in a linear equation. Okay, so up to this point, I have got rid of my denominators, and now I have this linear equation, right? This is a linear equation. We love linear equations. Those are the easy equations that we can solve for. First thing we do is combine my like terms. So x is equal to 5. Oops, x plus 5 is equal to 4. Then subtract a 5, and x is equal to -1. Now you might say, okay, that is my solution. But if you remember in Algebra 1, or when we were solving linear equations, you should get in the habit of checking your solution, right? And a lot of times we get a little lazy the higher up we get in math, because we do these math over and over and over again, and we feel pretty confident in our solutions. But we have to be careful. By solving this rational equation, we have to look for these extraneous solutions. Because look what happens when we plug a -1 back into my equation. So I have a 4 over a -1 plus 1 equals a 4 over a -1 plus 1. And you can see what's going to happen here. This -1 plus 1 is going to add to 0, which means it's going to be undefined. So therefore, -1 is not a solution to this equation. And actually, since this was the only equation, I don't have any solutions to this equation. But we call this solution an extraneous solution. And because even though it is a solution for this equation, it is not a solution for the original equation. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I have many more examples for solving rational equations in the playlist down below. I hope you enjoyed and look forward to seeing you in the next video. Cheers.